Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Miss English Buddy. Today's episode is very special because we are talking about a topic that almost every English learner dreams about. Our topic today is how to speak English fluently, real-life English. Leo, tell me honestly, how many people do you think want to speak English fluently but feel stuck?
Emma, I think it's millions, maybe even more. I talk to learners every day, and most of them say the same thing. I understand English, I can read English, but when I speak, my mind goes blank. They feel shy, nervous, and scared of making mistakes.
Exactly. And the sad part is, many learners think they are bad at English, but that's not true. The real problem is not vocabulary, not grammar, not even pronunciation. The real problem is mindset.
Yes, before learning how to speak English fluently, we must first learn how to think about English fluency. If your thinking is wrong, your progress will be slow no matter how many books or videos you watch.
Leo, let me ask you a very important question. When people say, I want to speak English fluently, what do they usually imagine?
Most people imagine speaking like a native speaker. Perfect accent, no mistakes, fast speaking, big vocabulary. They think fluency means perfection.
And that is the first big mistake.
Absolutely. Fluency does not mean perfection. Fluency means you can express your thoughts clearly, even if you make small mistakes.
Let me give a simple example. Imagine you are talking to a friend and you say, yesterday I go to market and buy some fruits. Is the grammar perfect?
No, it should be went, not go.
Right. But did we understand the meaning?
Yes, 100%.
That is fluency. Communication happened. The message was clear. Fluency is about communication, not grammar exams. The fear of making mistakes.
Emma, can we talk about fear for a moment? Because fear is the biggest enemy of English fluency.
Yes, and this fear usually comes from childhood experiences, school pressure, or people laughing when someone makes a mistake.
Exactly. Many learners think if I speak and make a mistake, people will judge me. But let me ask you something. When a child learns to speak their mother language, do they speak perfectly?
Not at all. Children make hundreds of mistakes. They say wrong words, wrong grammar, wrong pronunciation.
And do parents stop them and say, your grammar's wrong?
No, parents smile. They encourage them. That's why children learn fast.
So the lesson is simple. Mistakes are not the enemy. Silence is the enemy. Real story. A learner who was afraid to speak.
Emma, I want to share a real story with our listeners. I once met a student named Ahmed. He understood English very well. He could watch English movies without subtitles, but he never spoke English.
Why?
Because once in college, he mispronounced a word and his classmates laughed. That one moment stayed in his mind for years.
That's very common.
Yes. So I told him something very simple. I said, Ahmed, every fluent English speaker you admire has made more mistakes than you.
That's powerful.
After that, he started speaking slowly, not perfect, but confidently. 6 months later, his fluency improved more than in the last 5 years.
Thinking in English, not translating. Now, let's talk about a very important habit, thinking in English.
Yes, many learners translate from their native language to English in their head. This makes speaking slow and stressful.
For example, you think in your language first, then translate word by word into English. By the time you speak, the conversation has already moved on.
So how do we fix this?
We start small, very small, daily thinking. For example, when you wake up, think, I am waking up. I need to brush my teeth. I am making tea.
Simple sentences, real-life English.
Exactly. Fluency grows from simple daily English, not from difficult words.
Stop memorizing. Start using. Leo, I want to say something very important now. Many learners think learning English means memorizing thousands of words.
And then they forget them.
Yes, Memorization without usage is useless.
Let me give an example. If you learn the word opportunity but never use it, it will disappear from your memory.
But if you say, "This is a good opportunity for me," again and again, it becomes natural.
So our rule is simple. Learn less, use more.
Fluency is a skill, not knowledge. Leo, is speaking English knowledge or skill?
It is a skill, like driving or swimming.
Exactly. You can read all the books about swimming, but you will never swim unless you enter the water.
And English is the same. You must speak to become fluent.
Even talking to yourself is practice.
Yes, self-talk is powerful.
Daily English speaking routine, simple version. Let's give our listeners a very easy daily routine.
Good idea.
Step 1, speak for 5 minutes daily. Any topic, no pressure.
Step 2, describe what you see around you.
Step 3, record your voice once a week and listen.
Not to judge, just to notice improvement.
Accent versus clarity. Many learners say, "My accent is bad."
Accent is not the problem. Clarity is the goal.
There are many English accents in the world.
British, American, Indian, Pakistani, African, and many more.
Fluency means people understand you.
Not that you sound like a movie actor.
All right, Leo, before we move forward, I want to slow everything down for our listeners. Many people listen to English podcasts, but they don't absorb them. So let me say this very clearly and very slowly. Speaking English fluently is not magic. It is not talent. It is not something you are born with. Fluency is built step by step, day by day, using real-life situations. Today, in this part, we will talk deeply about how English is actually used in real life. Not textbook English, not exam English, but daily spoken English that real people use.
Yes, Emma, and I really like that you said slow everything down because most learners rush. They want fast results. They want to speak like a native speaker in 3 months, and when that doesn't happen, they feel disappointed. But real fluency grows slowly, like a plant. You water it every day with small practice, and one day you suddenly realize, wow, I am speaking without fear now. That moment comes only if you stay patient.
Why textbook English is not enough? Leo, let's talk about a big problem. Many learners study English for years in school. They pass exams, they know grammar rules, but still, they cannot speak confidently. Why does this happen?
Because textbooks teach formal English, not living English. In real life, people don't speak like grammar books. For example, textbooks teach, "How are you?" And the answer is, "I am fine, thank you." But in real life, people say, "I'm good, not bad, doing okay," or even just tired.
Exactly. And when learners hear real English, they feel confused. They think, "I never learned this sentence." But actually, it's the same meaning, just natural English.
This is why listening to real conversations, podcasts, movies, and daily dialogues is very important. Not just learning rules, but learning patterns.
Speaking in short, simple sentences. Leo, I want to remove a big misunderstanding right now. Many learners think fluent English means speaking long, complex sentences.
Yes, and that idea creates fear.
Let me tell a short story. I once met a businessman who spoke very simple English. His grammar was not perfect, his accent was strong, but he was very confident. He spoke in short sentences, and guess what? Everyone understood him clearly.
That's a perfect example. Fluency is clarity, not complexity.
So learners should give themselves permission to speak simple English. For example, instead of saying, "I am extremely exhausted due to excessive workload," you can simply say, "I am very tired because of work."
And in real life, people often say, "I'm tired, work was crazy today."
All right, Leo, let's continue with introducing yourself, but this time in a very practical and realistic way. Many English learners feel that this is the most stressful moment because it's usually the first time they speak. But the truth is, introductions in real life are simple and short. People are not waiting for a long story. They only want basic information. When you understand this, your fear becomes smaller. A good introduction has only 3 parts: a greeting, your name, and one small detail about you. That's enough. You don't need advanced vocabulary or perfect grammar. Even native speakers keep it simple. The key thing is your tone. If you speak calmly and clearly, people will understand you easily. So instead of worrying about mistakes, focus on being relaxed and friendly. English sounds much better when you are comfortable.
Yes, Emma, and I want to add something very important for our listeners. Many learners try to memorize a fixed introduction, but real life doesn't work like that. Every situation is different. Sometimes you meet someone at work, sometimes in class, sometimes online. Your introduction should change slightly, but the structure stays the same. For example, you can say, "Hi, I'm Leo. I work as a trainer." Or, "Hi, I'm Leo. I'm a student." Both are natural. You don't have to explain everything about your life. Keep it short. Also, it's okay to pause while speaking. Pauses are normal in real conversations. They give you time to think and sound confident. Remember, speaking slowly is not a weakness. It actually helps you speak more clearly.
Now let's talk about mindset again, because mindset decides how your introduction sounds. If you think, "My English is bad," your voice will shake. But if you think, "I'm just sharing basic information," your voice will be steady. Try to see introductions as a friendly exchange, not a test. For example, when someone says, "Tell me about yourself," you can simply say, "My name is Emma. I'm from Pakistan. I'm learning English to improve my communication." This is clear and natural. You don't need to impress anyone. Another tip is smiling while you speak. Even if the other person can't see you clearly, a smile changes your voice. It makes you sound more confident and friendly. Small things like this make a big difference in real-life English.
Before we finish this topic, let's give listeners a simple daily practice. Take 2 minutes every day and introduce yourself out loud. Do it in front of a mirror or while sitting alone. Say it slowly and clearly. Don't stop if you make a mistake. Finish the introduction. This is very important. Finishing your sentence builds confidence. After a few days, try changing one line, like your job or your goal. This helps your brain become flexible in English. Over time, you will notice that introducing yourself feels natural, not scary. That is the first sign of fluency. Remember, every fluent speaker started with simple introductions. You are on the same path. Just keep practicing.
Now that you've introduced yourself, the next challenge is something many learners find even harder: starting the conversation after the introduction. This is the moment where people often feel stuck and think, "What should I say now?" But the good news is, real-life conversations don't need clever or deep questions. They usually start with very simple topics. The goal is not to impress the other person, but to keep the conversation moving naturally. One of the easiest ways to start is by talking about the situation you are in. For example, if you are in a class, you can say, "How do you find this class?" If you are at work, you can say, "Is today busy for you?" These are normal, friendly questions. When you ask simple questions, the other person feels comfortable and the conversation flows more easily.
That's true, Emma. And I want to remind learners that conversations are built step by step, just like introductions. You don't need to speak a lot at the beginning. Even one small question is enough to start. Many learners stay silent because they are afraid of asking the wrong question. But in real life, there is no wrong small talk question. Asking about work, studies, weather, or the place you are in is completely normal. For example, you can say, "Is this your first time here?" Or "How long have you been working here?" These questions are simple, but they open the door to longer conversations. Also, listening is just as important as speaking. When you listen carefully and respond naturally, people enjoy talking with you, even if your English is simple.
Another very helpful trick for starting conversations is using follow-up questions. Many learners ask one question, get an answer, and then stop. Instead, try to build on what the other person says. For example, if they say, "I'm a student," you can ask, "What are you studying?" If they say, "I work in IT," you can say, "Oh, do you enjoy it?" These small follow-up questions show interest and keep the conversation alive. You don't need to change the topic quickly. Staying on one simple topic is better than jumping between many topics. This makes you feel more relaxed and confident. Remember, good conversations are not fast, they're comfortable. When you slow down and show interest, your English sounds more natural.
Before we close this topic, let's talk about practice again. You can practice starting conversations even when you are alone. Imagine a situation and speak out loud. For example, imagine you are meeting a classmate and say, "Hi, how are you finding the course so far?" Practicing like this prepares your mind for real situations. Also, don't worry if a conversation ends quickly. Not every conversation needs to be long. Sometimes a short talk is enough, and that's perfectly okay. Each small conversation builds your confidence little by little. The more you practice starting conversations, the easier it becomes. One day, you will notice that you are speaking without thinking too much. That is real progress in real-life English.